God, through trauma, broke off so many years of hurt. It was like the grief brought me healing. It made life feel so much more real. It made
Mm.
happiness feel so much more real. It made me savor every day, but it also let me let things go.
Between the Grooves is hosted by James Curtis, music director and morning man in the Greater Toronto Area on Joy Radio, and Aisha Woods, Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, and musician. Together, they talk with artists and industry insiders to discover our connection between music and faith. You can connect with us on Facebook or X at Between Grooves and on Instagram at Between Grooves Pod. Now, here's James and Aisha.
Welcome back to Between the Grooves. James Curtis along with Aisha Woods. How's everybody doing today?
Never better.
Never better. Never better. Absolutely. Our guest today is someone we were chatting with or chatting about a few weeks ago.
Yes.
When we were talking with Kay Anthony, the Juno Award artist for 2024 in the Christian Gospel category. He did a collaboration with Alicia Ike and Lloyd Nicks. And Lloyd Nicks, I thought, we really haven't chatted with him before, so let's get him on the podcast. And
Right.
that's what we're doing today.
Good deal. Let's get into it.
Good morning, Lloyd.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
We can hear you great.
Okay, great. I was so confused. I was trying to log in for like 4 minutes.
Oh, that's okay. I don't know if you heard us chatting, but I'm in Toronto, Aisha's in Orlando, and you are what, in St. Louis?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good stuff.
St. Louis. Got
Yes.
some good barbecue.
Yeah.
We do.
A great time of year for it, too. I guess I wanted to start out with a big song that's out right now is CeCe Winans' That's My King. Lloyd, wondering if you've ever heard of that song.
I am the writer and the original recording artist for that song with a team called Bridge Worship out of Spring Hill, Tennessee.
That's so much fun.
That is a great song.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is.
It's a powerful song, and she does a great job, of course, with it anyways, but it's a great song. Like, that's a great cranking up song for the summer, if you ask me.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm excited to see how far it's gone because it was one of those unintentional, probably it was a late day write, second write of the day at a writing camp. We weren't that serious. We were just having fun.
No kidding.
No, it was just one of those non-serious. We never even thought to. They weren't even going to record it at first.
Wow.
Those are the writing sessions you need to have. They got to be more fun to have a song like that.
Yes, sir. It was so fun, so fun. We were good. Some of my good friends. We wrote it together.
That's great.
You've done a few other songs too. I noticed you. I didn't know you had a hand in, or at least I'm not sure if you wrote it or you sang on it with Stars Go Dim, Authority in the Name of Jesus.
Yeah, that's one of my good friends. I was asked by his label to jump on the just like a reprise of it or a remix of it, and I'm not a part of the write, but I was just excited to just write with him. Actually, we have a song that me and him wrote together that I'm releasing next month on the 28th. It's called Blessed Assurance. It's called Blessed Assurance When I Was Broken.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Chris, he's the type of guy that doesn't get the attention that he deserves, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I totally agree. He's such a good person on and off stage. He's just a genuine human being that loves doing what he does. He loves his family. He loves Jesus, and I'm just excited to see what God does with him in this next season.
Well, and what he's doing with you as well. You were tell me about Jireh then. That's another song that you participated in.
So I was asked to be a part of that remix by an artist called Bright. I think he really does a lot of EDM remixes to popular worship songs.
Right.
And so I was asked to be a part. Like, again, these are just people that I was just friends with.
Okay.
But I'm just sitting at home in St. Louis being faithful to what God has blessed me with. I'm a husband, and to my wife's name is Ashley, and we just had a baby girl. Her name's Zoe.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
thank you. Honestly, I'm just at home. If I can say it in my St. Louis accent, I'm just at home chilling. And
And the
God is
phones are ringing.
and I'm just watching God just do things bigger than what I could ever imagine by simply just me being faithful to what He's blessed me with at home.
Are you leading worship at a church?
Yes, so I'm a worship arts director at a church called Influence in St. Louis. So I've been here since I took on this position from a longtime friend / pastor. His name is Darnell West. And I took on this position about last August. So it'll be a year in August I stepped on here to help. And it's been amazing. So it's been really good being here.
So that's your day job, or is the day job writing the music and you do that on the side part-time?
Honestly, it seems like it's equal. I'm juggling both. At the moment, I'm juggling both, but I love the local church. I love being a part of the local church.
Yes, sir.
I say this all the time. I know people probably get tired of me saying it, but the formula is if you're faithful of a few things, God will make you ruler of many. Like I just don't want to be a worship artist nomad that's out here roaming, doing all these big things, and I can't serve at a local church with just real people, that's serving a real community, and being a part of the church and not just trying to capitalize off the church. And I never want to do that. I always want to be connected to a community that holds me accountable, that I can just be Lloyd with. I don't want to be the artist. I just want to let my hair down and serve and get my hands dirty in the community and with the people that's around me.
You know, you saying let your hair down is like me saying let my hair down. I don't have a lot of it.
I was getting I was thinking, I wonder if he has a short haircut or...
I don't. I have really curly hair at the top. My wife loves to take care of it, and she braids it up.
She likes to take care of it.
My wife loves to take... I decided to grow my hair because my wife said, hey, you should try this. And anything about a husband, if my wife says she loves it, I'm going to do it.
There you go.
Yeah. It's the same thing. My wife and I went shopping, and she said, I'm buying you some shirts. And, I'm not conscious really on wardrobe as much as she is, I suppose. And she's picking out these shirts. This would look good on you. This would look good on you. It's like I put it on. As long as it fits, I'm good with it, you know?
Yep. You're a smart man.
Yeah, the wives are the best, for sure. Lloyd, you recently posted on Insta about how to network as an introverted artist. So number one, I would suspect that you consider yourself introverted, and
very much so.
So what do you do? What do you do then?
Wow.
Honestly, I love people, and so I focus on just the person. I don't try to strive or try to be an opportunist. I literally, when I meet people, I take out the equation what they can do for me, and I just try to build genuine relationship. And if God has it for me, great. But if it's just me just simply getting to know a name and a face, and that's the core of who I'm called to be. Like if a lot of people I don't think they know, but as an artist, I've worked with a really close friend of mine. His name is Damian Wong-Kin. And he's have you ever heard of Damian Wong-Kin? Have you ever heard of him?
Yes.
So Damian sat down with me. He came into town, and he said he spent like a whole day. It was like a 12-hour day. He flew into town, drilling me of coming down to just simplifying who is Lloyd Nicks and who are you called to be, and stick with that outside of the music. And at the core of who I am, I believe God has called me to really help people feel seen and known and heard. That's period. That's the core of who I am. So everything I do outside of music and how I am, even greater so than music, that's the avenue God chooses me to use. But on top of that, I feel like God is calling me to be that. And so as I'm networking as an introverted artist, I care about people being seen, heard, and known. So every time I'm in your presence, every time we have a conversation, it's not about what we can gain. It's just
Right.
me being with a person, seeing them, hearing them, and making sure that they feel known. Out of that, God has blessed relationships that have grown into business relationships, like with Chris and like with the Gyra, which grew out of my radio promoter, Josh Large from 55 Promotions, a guy that
Yes.
he works with, Ben Bright, is a part of that. And so from those relationships and just cultivating, just being a human and just being real and just getting to know people, God has been able to bless and breathe on my ministry. Because I'm not the one to
Mm.
just go up and I just can't, I just don't know how. I'm awkward and I just don't know how to be an opportunist. And I'm like, I'll just be a real person. Hey, if it
Sure.
goes somewhere, just let God do it. Other than that, I just want to know you.
Right.
Sometimes I feel that an extroverted artist initiates relationships to gain the benefit of what it could do for them in their career or whatever else.
Yeah, and I'm just not that. You never want people to do that to you. And I'm a real
Right.
feely person. I am very in touch with my feelings, and people probably think I'm not emotional. I'm just very aware of how I feel, and I just always am thinking about how the other person is feeling. I think people's feelings matter. I think the way people feel and the way we interact them and how they feel when they leave our presence, I feel like it matters.
Right.
And so I'm very conscious of that with everything that I do.
Is Ashley's personality similar, or is she the outward person?
I think she's ambivert. She's like both. She can be, but she loves being at home. She loves but she loves being around people. But it's like she's fueled by both. Me, sometimes she have to give me a pass. It's like, baby, can we just be together in the same room, but probably just silent?
Do you all minister together?
So she is a baker and she does things with her hands. So she's very good with her hands. So she is a baker and she's at full-time mom at home. She owns her own
I love it.
bakery called Simply Lula Bakery.
Okay.
You can get it from simplylulabakery.com. She even ships, but she specializes in pie flavored cookies and pastries.
Oh my.
So she
Shameless
has
plug. Okay.
So she has apple pie, blueberry pie, peach cobbler cookies in these other products called pie nadas, where she feels like that with the pie filling. She tosses in her sweet sugary mix, and then she has these new products she's just released called Zoe Doughys, which are like these Chinese donuts that she puts her pie preserves on top of, or you could dip them in. So she's very good at that.
Oh goodness.
I'm getting a little hungry.
I know. I'm thinking, how do you maintain discipline?
Yeah, with all the samples that you get all the time.
A baker.
Well,
yeah.
I'm not a sweets kind of guy. It's the salty that I get in trouble with salt. Like I've never even had a cavity before. So I'm not a sweets. I'm not, they're good, but I can live without sweets any day. Don't take away just don't take away the salt.
Right. So you're
with a bag of chips.
Chips, I was going to say.
Yes, that's my problem.
Chips and fries and whatnot.
Yep,
yeah,
that's my problem.
Yeah. So how did you get into music, Lloyd? Was this a childhood thing where you just loved cranking up the music, or was it you started messing around on an instrument? How did it work out for you?
So I didn't grow up in a Christian home or a musical family. In fact, it was everything opposite of that. I was a victim of sexual abuse as a kid by a family member, older family member. Didn't say anything about it for years. On top of that, my home life was very chaotic because my stepfather, he struggled from abuse growing up, like physical abuse, and it's just hard. So his form of punishment, he thought it was punishment, but it was abuse. My mom stayed because, her own trauma. She didn't leave. No, she loved me, but, like, it's just the humanness of it. she just did not leave, and I stayed in that situation. My real father has been in jail and on drugs my entire life, so don't really have a relationship with him. I love him, but it just is what it is.
Sure.
And so music was seemed to be my gift from God from ever since I could talk. Music was almost like my therapy. It
Hmm.
was the way that I can express my feelings in the deepest, most parts of my emotions and my how I process things. A lot of time is through music, and then later on it grew into a gift of writing.
Mm.
Especially after I met Jesus at 14, I was the first Christian in my household. I had an uncle that came in and kind of like rescued me from the chaos. Started taking me to church. Spent most weekends with him, starting like my eighth grade year of middle school and then through college, high school. He would come and get me every weekend and take me to church. And I found
Wonderful.
Jesus when I was 14. And here I am, 20 years later. I've been with Jesus most of my life. And so
That's awesome.
it grew out of a child that found music, but then God turned my life around, the trajectory of my life. When I met Jesus, it was a complete miracle. And every dream that I had, God has been getting to blow my mind, but I really believe it's because I had a personal and true encounter with Jesus Christ.
Hmm. Hmm.
Would you say the interest in music was initiated by becoming a believer, or was this
Oh, I
initially perhaps?
always.
So it wasn't like an escapism
Oh
of
no,
reality at some point.
I was always. It was honestly. I think it came from my stepfather. He loved music, so he grew up listening to. Even though I was in an abusive household, he grew up listening to. I grew up listening to everything from hip hop to. He loved country music, and he loved. I remember listening to Hootie and the Blowfish growing up, all the way to
Hmm.
Journey, all the way to Tupac, and like it was all this like. And he would just listen to every day after he get home from work. He would sit at the kitchen table. He would drink his problems away, smoke his problems away, but he would have music blasting.
Mm.
And I just
Gave
would,
you an appreciation for every genre.
it gave me an appreciation. And that's kind of like what you hear in my sound. It's actually just this I am a melting pot of sounds, which is at the core of what I feel like I'm called to. Like I bridge gaps. I start conversations through my music, and it's a genre. My music is genre bending. It creates a bridge, and so it came from that, and then after that, now it's kind of funny. I lost my mom to cancer 8 years ago on my birthday, so it's
I'm
just been trauma after
sorry.
trauma.
Wow.
But God, through trauma, broke off so many years of hurt. It was like the darkness healed me from everything that was holding me all my life, the unforgiveness, to now after my mom passed, me and my stepfather have a wonderful relationship.
Wow.
It was like grief brought me healing. It made life feel so much more real. It made
Mm.
happiness feel so much more real. It made me savor every day, but it also let me let things go just so that I could enjoy life and not let just unforgiveness and hurt and all that pent up anger hold me
Yeah.
down from experiencing what life is, the joys of life really had for me. So even though
Mm.
the grief is very real, I cannot
Sure.
deny the joy that I feel and the happiness I feel now. It's like never before.
And I'll bet that little baby girl just takes it to the 10th power.
Oh yes, and she's a happy baby too, because she's a happy baby. But I can give her something that I never had, and I can be a curse breaker and
Yes.
be the Moses of my family to take us out of the captivity and lead them to the promised land, and that's Jesus.
Hmm. Hmm. He's preaching now.
Yeah. Um, given the fact that you mentioned that you've I guess somewhat restored the relationship with your stepdad, and growing up, he was a big influence as far as appreciating music and different genres of music. What does he think about your music?
Oh, he's like to know that he's just proud of me, and for him to say like how much he's proud of me, how much my mom will be proud of me means so much to me.
Mm.
Um, and just he's just been, man, I'm getting emotional. I just never
Yeah.
thought that God could restore such a relationship like this, but I really believe that God is using me to show him that what the love of Jesus and what the love of God looks like. We do not deserve it.
Yeah.
Like I should be angry at him, but I'm not going to give him that punishment.
Yeah.
And so like for me to show him, like, it was supernatural, by the way. It wasn't something that I consciously got up and say, hey, I'm going to forgive this. I got up one day and it was just gone.
Wow.
And I could not find the anger.
Well, God is able.
It was a miraculous healing of my heart that happened.
It's interesting you mentioned that was a healing of your heart.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people would be looking at circumstances in their lives and thinking, you know, it's your fault. It's
Right,
you know,
right.
pointing the finger and thinking it's them
Sure.
that need
Playing
to
the
do
blame
something
game.
about it.
I think that's a pride issue. We hold unforgiveness over people's head as a punishment for them. But ultimately, we're the only ones suffering.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And so for me, it was for my
unforgiveness.
healing.
Whew.
It was
Sure.
for my freedom. It was for me to be the husband that I am. It was for me to be the father that I am.
So has all of that translated into music for you as far as your songwriting is concerned?
Oh yes, you hear it all in my songs. You hear it in my latest release that I just did. Trust You, just released last Friday. And so it talks about basically how, you know, sometimes people blame it the way they react and the way they respond to their personality type, or the bigger thing now is their Enneagram number. Oh, I'm this number, so I respond this way. At the end of the day, if you acting a fool, it's a character flaw. And you need to let God heal your heart and trust him so he can trust you. And so like healing and like the way I respond. And then I had another song called Learning to Forgive. In the first line, it says time. Oh, it takes time to accept the apology that you may never get.
Wow.
That's
And
pretty
how
deep.
it's
That's pretty
100,000
deep.
choices.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's 100,000 choices, waking up every day. And even when I keep falling and I'm like, oh, they did something else to make me mad, I'm going to keep on learning to forgive them over and over again, just like the Father forgave me.
Sure. Now, are you a musician? You write songs.
So I'll consider myself a musician. Voice is my main instrument, but
Gotcha.
I like that. I like that.
But
I like the fact that you consider that an instrument. Thank you.
It is.
And I went to school for it. I went to school for it. I have my bachelor's degree is in vocal performance classical. So I think that $30,000 a year qualifies me to be a musician.
So that's my instrument.
That's my instrument. I take care of it. I've studied it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah. So, Lloyd, do you have a favorite artist or group right now in the Christian realm?
Some of my favorites, if I look at my favorites, will have to be, I love Torrin Wells. I love how he genre bends.
He's big time, eh?
The ones that, as far as even the Christian world, K. Anthony, I'm proud of him so much. He is my big brother. He is one of my biggest motivators. He is my counselor, and he gives me good instructions. He comes into town almost every other week and makes sure he spends time with me. Another group that's been very loving in this season is Kane.
Awesome.
They are some of the most genuine, loving, real, down to earth people. And last but not least, We the Kingdom. I'm good friends with Andrew Berthal. He's a part of their group, but he's just been just real people.
Yeah.
I just genuinely, it's not because of their music. I think it's because of this. When you know them,
Yes.
you understand the cost of what they produce. It's just not a good song. It has weight to it.
Yeah, and
Right,
like you said
right.
originally about the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about non-Christian? Favorite band, favorite artists?
Writing wise, I love Coldplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something about it. People talk about Coldplay, the place saying like they were the Christian band before Christian bands were.
Yeah.
I love Coldplay. I love Charlie Puth. I love
Mm,
Bruno Mars. I love how Bruno Mars like transcend time. Like he makes
sure.
timeless music. But I love Charlie Puth, like how creative he is with just his music production. And then Timbaland. Timbaland is always going to be before his time. His production is out of this world. I feel
Hmm.
like the songs that he made 20 years ago, now
Yes.
everybody's copycatting him now, but he's been it.
Right. Mhm.
What about some country in there?
Country,
I'm not a fan, so I'm just asking, just out of politeness.
I love I don't listen to a lot of country. The one that the ones that I love are probably like timeless country songs.
Right.
Probably like I love Hootie and the Blowfish. I grew up with Hootie and the Blowfish.
Okay.
Oh my Lord. As far as country, I don't listen to a lot of country. I enjoy them mainly for their writing,
Right.
Yes.
their storytelling.
Now, if there was an opportunity presented to you to write with whoever you desired that you haven't written with in the past, who would it be?
Man, the list could go on.
Top
Let's
three.
see.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do these all at once, Aisha. You'd want them one at a time, right? Because otherwise, it's all about relationship. You want to spend that
Right.
time and pick their brain and get to know them, right?
Yes. Let me see. Now you got to make me think. Oh,
Well, Torrin Wells, you've mentioned him. Have you ever written with him?
no, I have not.
So maybe that's the first guy you need to go to.
Let me see. Ooh, you're getting me. You're stumping me.
Oh, that's funny.
I would say my choices would be probably Timbaland again. I would write with him. Toby Mac.
Uh-huh.
Oh, for King and
That would
Country.
be a nice collaboration between you and Toby Mac.
It would.
That would be real sweet.
So Toby, if you hear this, I'm the guy.
Yeah. He's great for collaborations, by the way. He does it all
Yes,
the
he
time.
is.
Like it, in my opinion, what I really like about him is he has a way of kind of introducing artists to introducing him to the
really.
show, like bringing him into the world and showing
Yes.
him,
Yep.
yeah, here's what you can do, and the sky's the limit type thing, right?
Yep.
Right.
He definitely creates. He creates avenue, and he introduces cross genres. Like he's a bridge builder, and I have to put my one of my favorite artists of all time. I did not mention him. I don't know why, but he's the reason why I fell in love with Christian music, gospel music, and Christian music. Fred Hammond.
Yes,
He
sir.
will.
I
Fred
thought you were
Hammond.
going to say Kirk Franklin, believe it or not.
Fred Hammond. I remember getting in my uncle's car and not really knowing any Christian music, and I heard that smoothness that sounded like almost like a play on Luther, and I was like, I was drawn in. I was like, oh, Christian music can be hip. It can
Yes.
sound good. Like, and so I fell in love with Fred Hammond.
Sure,
That was my
sure.
first love of gospel and Christian music.
Okay.
And what about I was just mentioning there, Kirk Franklin. Would you do a collaboration with him? I mean, he's kind of different because he's not.
Of course I would.
He's not really singing. He's kind of writing and directing more.
Who would? Fred Hammond. Kirk Franklin. Anytime. Just call me any day.
Yeah. Okay. So Kirk.
Well, they're both out of Dallas, so
yeah,
you can make one. Have one writing day.
Just knock on the door. There you go. So you mentioned you've got the song that just came out, "Trust You," and you've got this "Blessed Assurance" coming out. What is coming in the future? Like, what are the big plans? What's the future goals as far as whether it's touring, which is difficult to do when you have a young family, or collaborations, or things that you plan to do or would like to do in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
So for me, those songs stem out of my full EP that's coming out later on this year. Probably by the end of the summer. It's called Common Ground. And so Common Ground is probably by far my biggest release that I just released about 2 months ago. It is the culmination of all these songs together. So hopefully by this year, I'll be really pushing that out, that EP and that song. The song is meant to be exactly what it's called, Common Ground. I want to start healthy conversations, especially during this season where we're gearing up to election year. I think it's a song that we need to hear because, people all of a sudden get their pitchforks out. They forget that Jesus is king. Right. And we start arguing over politicians and who's this and who's right. At the end of the day, our foundation is built on Jesus.
Right.
And our common ground is Jesus Christ. So before we type that next message, before we say that next hurtful thing, who are you representing? And that's have conversations for that. So that's the near future. 5 years, a year or two down the line, I would love to tour. I would love to, honestly, I hope touring in my music opens up an avenue for me to tell my story more for people that are like Lloyd, that have experienced trauma, that have experienced hurt, to understand I want to have healthy conversations and open up avenues for healthy conversations to talk about our shared human experiences and all of that. So music is the avenue, but I hope out of music it grows conversations that will bridge gaps and it will help us to be just better humans and better people to one another.
Like what we're doing right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Healthy conversation.
Lloyd, thanks so much for hanging with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Looking forward to your future endeavors and everything that you've got coming out. Wish you the best.
So much. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. Tell the lady in the background that's producing you, said hi. Thank you for everything she's doing as well.
She's laughing. Thank you. Thanks, Justine.
All right. See y'all later.
Thanks, Lloyd. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Right,
bye-bye.
What a great conversation with Lloyd. I'm really looking forward to all that God has for him in the near future.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got a whole bunch of music on the way, and a
great big heart,
and he's got the phone ringing, people knocking on his door, and a lot of success. But he doesn't really dwell on that either, does he? He's kind of looking forward to all the new things that are coming up. So good stuff. Thank you to Lloyd Nicks for hanging with us for a bit on the latest episode of Between the Grooves. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe, and we will chat again next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Thanks for listening to Faith Strong Today's Between the Grooves podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, would you consider sharing it with your friends, rating our podcast, or giving us some love on your socials to your amazing friends and followers will only help us reach more people. We'd also love to hear from you and share your feedback in an upcoming episode. Send your video or written message to Aisha and James on Facebook or X @Between Grooves and on Instagram @Between Grooves Pod. Or email us anytime, hello@faithstrongtoday.com.